and I welcome you here to Smile and Spread a Little Joy. And SMILE is an acronym for support, motivate, invest, love, and educate. And we were all born to smile. I'm Deborah Johnson, your host, and I am the Smile Lady. What I want you to do real quick, and we're going to go through this really quick. I speak in acronyms, and SMILE is an acronym. And as I say always, we were all born to smile, to leave this place better than you found it. Mother Teresa has a saying that says, a person's life should be better because they met you, not worse. So make someone smile today. Here we go. It's going to be really, really quick with the smile. And this is the S for support. It takes a whole village to raise one child. Your M for motivate, enthusiasm. What is in you that keeps you ticking? What is your purpose, your intrinsic motivation? I, invest, giving back, serving. How are you using your gift to make this world better? L, love, that agape, that is a commandment. That is what makes you thrive, not just survive, for you to love and forgive. Then E is educate, or if you're a teacher, teach. Train up a child in the way, and that's the T for the E for educate, I mean. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Smile, spread just a little bit of joy. That is what we're here to do. We're talking to Cathy Johnson again, and this is nurturing her smile. Nurture your smile. And I know I have her on this time because she's been married to her wonderful husband, Michael, for 31 years. Some people can't stay married a month, 5 years. And I want her to kind of give us some tips, me especially, some tips on how did they make it. Was it all roses and cream and honey or what? But you got to work at any relationship, friendships, children, parenting, work at it. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I need a hug this time. Because this topic is truly, truly needed. It should have came first because then the babies came later, but now that we got the babies and what your passion was out of the way, I want to just jump into it right now, Michael, and maybe how you met briefly, and then how this marriage lasted for 31 years. That's amazing.
It is amazing. It's a blessing. I met my husband. I won't say how old I was, but I was young. Mm-hmm. Okay, over 22. I was past 22. And I had just finished showering and whatnot for the night, had to grab a book. I was going to watch a movie, and my girlfriend that I went to college with called me and said her cousin was in town, and they were going to go down to the beach. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I changed, and I meet her over at her place, and that's when I met him. And I remember the first time when I met him, he talked so much about everything, and I thought, oh my God, he won't shut up, So I didn't like him. I thought he was talk too much. He was a windbag, and then he escorted me home because his cousin was like, he's a gentleman, let him escort you home. So he did, and he kept talking, and then we talked until 2 a.m. Talked about everything, religion, our upbringing, and everything. And then next thing you know, fast forward 2 weeks, he's calling me every day. I want to see you. Can I come by and see you? I'm like, oh my God, Like, no, I'm busy because I was working and I was managing an office. And so he would show up at my apartment with gladiolas.
Oh.
And every day after work, and I'm like, oh my God. So he'd come by and we'd eat and we'd talk. And at the time I was there in Chicago and loving the single life. But I wasn't dating, had no desire to date, My mind was about my career, Mm-hmm. But he was so persistent. Mm-hmm. And we ended up dating, and we've not been apart since.
Wow, because you said something about married 31, but how long did you date?
We dated, and we dated for 3.5 years before we got married.
Right. Now, it was good he was talking. You kind of learned, and you met his parents.
Met
and
his
this.
mom. I met his family. His family's a little bit larger than mine.
How large?
He has 5 siblings.
Wow.
And I have 1 brother.
Oh, so 5 siblings. Is he the oldest?
He's the middle child.
Whoa.
Yes.
Middle children seem to be overachievers. Are there boys and girls, or?
Yes, boys and girls. So
Okay.
he's definitely middle child, very nurturing in his personality.
Okay.
Always wanting to do for others. He took care of his family in terms of, he would be the one that would, okay, I'll do the dishes, or okay, I'll do the laundry, or whatever. He was always helping in that sense. And I was a spoiled little prima donna.
Sound like one of my daughters. I'm not going to tell you which one. Y'all know when you see the
I was a mess. I was a mess. There's a song in the 80s that said, you probably think this song is about you. I think they wrote it about me.
You know who I would say would be your prima donna is Chelsea.
Definitely.
Yeah, Chelsea
Definitely.
would be a lot like
Yeah.
that you explain that. Of course, you've matured into something else, but since you mentioned that about your personality, I would say Chelsea would be, and Brittany would be more like the dad.
Yes. Very, very much so.
Now, was it always peaches and cream? Did you see stars for the whole 35 years? Or
Oh, sure. Oh my God. In the beginning, it was a match made in heaven, because I think we were drawn together. You know how sometimes you meet people and there's things that are deficits in your life, so you meet someone who kind of completes your life? Well, when we met, we completed each other. In terms of, I was living alone in Chicago. He was born in Chicago, but was living in Indiana. And he needed someone that could listen to him and understood him, and vice versa. And so we came together, and we were basically spoiling each other. Whatever you want. What do you want to do? Okay, no, I'll do it only if you do. That kind of thing. And it was a beautiful thing. And so and we got married, 3 years later, and it was beautiful. The drama came when we were wanting to have children, because I couldn't. And so we tried, and it was always, tears and agony, and so we decided, you know what, let's just give up. Let's just forget about it. Let's adopt. And so I'm like, and I'm like, I don't know if we can adopt, and he's like, well, we'll look into it. We'll look into it. And the next thing you know, I had met a woman who was a very prayerful woman, and she prayed for me and prayed for my womb. And 2 weeks later, Mike and I conceived.
Wow. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Let me bring out my little tissue. So with you, and in that gave to me, looking at it in the field I'm in, chance to learn and love and form and bond a friendship, a solid foundation, instead of getting married because you're pregnant, not knowing yourself, not knowing each other, not knowing your body, not knowing what you love to do. That to me is a key right there. And I bet you she was over 25 when you... Yes. Her frontal lobe was fully developed. When we're like 15, our brain isn't even completed. It doesn't complete until you're 25. 26, give it a year to at least have a test run. Then you can start having... I truly believe that. Once I started going back to school, biopsych, your frontal lobe doesn't start going exponentially till you're 13, from 13 to 25. So if you're taking drugs and everything between 13 and 25, you're destroying some of those brain cells right there, because that's the exponential growth, your decision making, all of that. So what career were you going towards before you had your children? What were you working in?
I was in sales.
Sales?
Inside sales executive.
Okay.
And a lot of promotional sales with big companies, and I would basically package promotional sale packages for them to help incentives for their sales force.
So that makes it... See, look, I'm putting all of this together, y'all. That's what makes her really good at promoting and getting her daughters out there and getting them in the right direction. You can start out with one type of career, but not knowing that that is really preparing you for your ultimate that's coming along. Only the creator knows what you're about to do there. So take every little downfall and experience as a stepping stone towards what you do. You know, if you fall into hard times and make a mistake and don't learn from it, that's what it is. But if you learn from it, it's a learning experience.
Yes.
So what does your husband do?
My husband has been in the food industry for over 30 years now.
Okay. What do you mean food industry?
Well, he worked at various restaurants.
Oh, okay. Got
as
you.
General managers.
Okay, got you. And so that's going to always be in, that'll never go out like physical therapy.
Yeah, that's what he said. Like medicine and food will never go out of style.
Exactly. So you both had these careers, and he was blessed enough to, thank you. African-American family, y'all, listen. Till death do them part, they still together after 31 years. Raised 2 beautiful children. They work, and really now investing back. That is the ideal situation. I call y'all my little, what family? I can't say that word now. Now it's not a, but that family, you know, that family core, I wasn't blessed to have that. There hasn't been a man in 3 generations as a head of the household in my family. My mother's father died. She was a baby girl of 23 children. And then, you know, I wind up raising mine alone. And then before that, her grandfather got killed. Or what? You know what I'm saying? And back then, they really didn't believe in remarrying.
Right. That's true.
You know? So it's true. Just like, ooh, now it's next. We change them like underwear. That's what I'm saying to you. 31 years, I said, oh no, you gotta come back. Woo, y'all. So with this, did you ever think of leaving? Did you ever have such hard times you go like, oh my goodness?
Oh yes, absolutely, more than once. Absolutely, yeah. The thing that, you know, we have hard times. We've had hard times when he's lost a job, and we didn't know, oh my God, what are we gonna do? You know, where's our next meal coming from? You know, what are we gonna do? But even in those times, because of our faith in God,
thank you.
Because of how we, you know, even though, and it's so funny because God arrested us at the day that we got married. When we got married together and made our vows, which we wrote, we committed our lives to Him, not knowing the depth of what we did. You know what I mean? And so that fast forward when we actually give our life to Christ, because I feel like, although I was raised in I went to private Christian school all my life, up through college, until college. But until I gave my life to Christ for real, I didn't really know Jesus, you know. And we both did at the same time. You know, he says the same thing. He came from a Baptist background. I come from a Catholicism background. But then when we came together and found Christ for ourselves, we were non-denominational. And we studied the Word. And through the study of God's Word, we basically raised ourselves, evolved to who we are, to who you see through our children, you know, because we really, really, really rely on the Holy Spirit to teach us everything. You know, he even today, he listens to the Word of God and reads the Word daily because, like he says, you know, it's an evolving thing. Salvation is a verb. You know,
and it changes as you grow.
It changes.
That's why that book keeps selling, because as you go, I shouldn't get the same thing out of it when I was 12.
That's right.
You know, 65, and you're going, wait a minute, I'm still
right.
reading it as a no. It evolves with you, and you have to really, really be in tune to that.
Yes.
And the fact that, number one, she had a support system. Number two, they had to evolve and grow and had that solid foundation before kids and everything, and went through the trials. Everything ain't easy. Everything ain't instant, like turning on. Right now, I think social media spoiled us. You push a button and it need to happen. Fix this, fix this. I think we lost the sense of yearning, the sense of empathy. And narcissism is coming earlier and earlier now. So I think we need to get back to taking them out of self. Selfies, selfish, self, you know. And then sometimes we can be selfless, you know, so we have to really learn how to give. Not giving to ourselves is selfish.
It's true.
Because you're giving the worst part of you if you're not taking care of yourself.
That's true.
Did you know that case where affluency was a thing to get a young man off on murdering or killing 4 people? And do you know what they said? Because he was so spoiled and given everything, never had to experience anything for himself, that he committed these crimes without even feeling it. And he should not get jail time. Do you know they won? Do you know he went to a spa resort? Do you know the only punishment this man had because he was spoiled was not to see his mother for 2 years? She was an enabler. Then when he finally got out and was able to see his mother for 2 years, they both escaped to go to Mexico. Now he had a full, true prison term. I'm telling you, people, they don't give us time off for being poor. Hello. I'm telling you, spoiling a child and giving them too much, even if they don't deserve it, is abuse. Take that to the bank. You don't have to Google it. I said it. That is abuse. Now, that's the balance of what I see you doing. Number 1, you're working together. Number 2, even in the hard times, because you set that foundation, you stuck together.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want you to be on here and say, oh, no, he was just so wonderful. I mean, when I met him, he was just so fine and so cute. No, I didn't want that. I do want to hear, and the children need to hear, you got to work at stuff. You can't just give up because she farted or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you say that on air? I did. But you can't, you know, there's a lot of things you're going to learn from your spouse living with them that you didn't know just dating them on your best behavior. You know, I didn't wake up like this. You had to kind of work at looking natural. So, and they don't know that.
No.
So any other tips you want? I want you to talk into your camera.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And also, you know, when you're married to someone, you know, it's not always going to be 50-50.
Right.
It's not always going to be...
I'm so glad. That's what I wanted to say.
It's not always going to be 80-20. Sometimes you'll be the 80 and sometimes he'll be the 80, you know. But it's that foundation, it's that love that you have for each other where you know instinctively, okay, I need to pick up the pieces here. I need to pick up the slack because they're going through. When my husband took ill about 4 years ago, he couldn't walk. He was he was on his back, literally. And then he went from that to a walker to a crutch. And we had no family here in LA. We were just literally going through, I think, one of the hardest times we've ever experienced. But during that time, when I'm crying out to God, like, what is this? And he said, I would never leave you nor forsake you. And I had to hold on to that, knowing that, you know, because I was dealing with my own physical ailments, but God strengthened me. The more I relied on God, He strengthened me to be able to help my husband up out of the bed, to be able to help him use a walker until, you know, 3 months later, he was pretty much back to normal. So it's those times when, you know, sickness and in health, you know, we say these things, but trust and believe. You will be put to a situation where you will see if you really do love and cherish that one that you're with, you know.
Yeah, and I think your vows, you said you wrote them, but I know, you know, the traditional vows, till death do you part in this, but I know yours was probably deeper and more loving than the canned, you know, things that they say. And I like those better because it is a personal thing. It is a relationship where you knew him. So his foundation, was it, and he had his mother and father?
Yes.
Okay, and you had your mother and father?
I had my mother. My father passed away when I was in the 6th grade.
Okay. And your
my
brother's
mother,
older?
My brother's older, yeah.
How much?
2 years.
Okay. Oh Lord, you were prima donna.
I was definitely prima donna.
The baby girl, the baby and the girl and this. So okay, yeah. So Chelsea, your twin. Well, both of them are your twin. But I do see your. I like the picture you took with the smooches.
Oh,
the little
Tinsley.
Chihuahua. Whose dog is that?
That's our Jack Russell.
Oh, okay.
Tinsley.
Tinsley. Okay, it's a Jack Russell. Okay, now let me see. I know you had words of wisdom before. Love, 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 love. Now for this nurturing your smile, which I think you and your husband, Michael, you're doing right now. And nurturing your smile, what advice do you give for people who are dating or people who are in a marriage and they're about to give up because of things like that? What do you want to say to them?
Well, for people that are dating, be patient. Don't feel like you have to give more of yourself than you should, because you have to know that you are enough. A lot of these girls think, oh, I'm not really enough. Maybe I should do more just to make him, satisfied or to please him. Know that who you are is enough. And if you get into situations where you feel like you can't do it anymore, you're married and there's too much strain on the relationship, my first advice is to pray. To pray and seriously seek God, because prayer changes things. And we can't change our spouses by saying, okay, I don't like this, this, and this, and here's my grocery list, so I want you to change that. They'll never hear you, right? But if you go to the Father, who is able to turn the head of the king, you can pray to God and say, these things are giving me frustration, right? And you will literally watch God change first yourself, because obviously
that's probably
obviously there's things that in yourself that need molding, right? Because who are we to want to change others, right? We want things to work out for us, but that's the first thing. And then obviously then later, of course, you'll see that your spouse will do things that are molding to what you desired.
They have this old saying that you can't turn a pig into a swan. And a lot of times when you take a pig, don't ask me why this came up, a dirty pig, and you wash them off, you just have a clean pig. So sometimes I'm talking unequally yoked. Now, here's something I'm going to give you, and I hope you are old enough to get this. Ladies, quit calling your man, whether it's your fiance, your husband, your boyfriend, a dog. That's number one, what you speak. Because dogs get with what? Do I have to say it? A bee with an itch, right? So if you're calling your man a dog, you're calling yourself, you got it. I don't have to repeat that. So now if you start calling my king or my man or whatever, what are you calling yourself? A queen. I say faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. Sometimes we may be causing them to be, or vice versa. Not saying that it's right, but she has really ministered to me as far as the foundation and all of that. I didn't really have that, didn't even see it. And it's after we keep speaking it, it'll sink in. I know there's some other things you may want to think of that you want to add to that.
Well, other than that, I think that patience is definitely key. Because a lot of times we want everything overnight. This generation wants everything microwave fast, right? But I've learned over the years to be patient. To be patient and watch God move. He says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. A lot of times we just need to stand still and see God move in our lives, And I've learned that, those are the times when I have felt most satisfied.
Right. And do your children, they have some big men who go with them, I know they're really picky because they know what they're used to. So that's one good thing. They have a good example.
Yes.
They have a good example, and It may be difficult when you have a good example, but be patient. Wait out for it. Do like her, like 3 years, not 3 weeks, not 3 months, not 3 minutes, 3 years, and they learned each other and learned what each other was about.
Right.
Do you plan on like traveling together? What is his retirement career? You know.
He wants to retire in a few years, actually, and we do definitely want to travel.
Okay.
But until then, our family, we still take yearly annual vacations.
Okay,
in
good.
fact, we're going on a cruise in June.
Good. Where?
Yeah, Mexico.
Mexico. Okay.
Baja,
Okay.
Mexico.
Oh, I had the blessed thing to go to the Caribbean, 8-day Caribbean Virgin Islands.
Yes.
And I love that. And I've been on about 15 cruises, the weekend ones and this. But it's coming up on it's time for me, 2018, to go on another huge cruise. But 2017, I want to get to Africa. I wear my little faith African thing. I found out with my African DNA that I'm from Ghana.
Oh.
Out of the 75% African, most of it is Ghana and Nigeria.
Yeah.
Then the rest is all scattered because everybody else is mixed up.
Right.
And then 14% Irish or 15%, one or two in Europe. But anyway, it has been a blessing.
Yes,
it has been a
thank you.
blessing, and I am so happy that you gave the kids this advice. I couldn't, because I couldn't even make mine last, long enough. But I still have faith in the marriage.
Yes.
And I still feel that it's my duty to say, look, just because I didn't make it, I want to teach you.
That's right.
Some people say, I ain't giving you no advice. I didn't. No.
Yeah. And this generation too, they say that the old school does things differently, but really, it's all the same. It's all the same.
Okay.
Well,
bye, and thank you for smiling. We'll see you next time. I think I'm going to have her on the host, and she'll have her daughters on, and you'll see the triplets, okay? So see ya. This is good. You need to go out there and